The Galactic Federation Council chambers floated in the darkness of space, a giant ring of metal structures circling a dead white star. Inside the main hall, Admiral Juno stood perfectly still. His hands were clasped behind his back and his face showed nothing. He looked calm, like a man who had no worries at all. 3 alien beings sat across from him. They were the Federation's Defense Committee, and they had come to check Earth's defenses. The leader was Velvets, a tall creature with blue-silver skin and 4 eyes. Next to him sat Kreeth, a massive warrior covered in red armor that shined under the lights. The third was Killeness, a strange being with see-through skin that floated in the air. Small tablets drifted around it like planets around a sun. Velvet spoke first. His voice was deep and worried. "Admiral Juno, we have finished looking at your planet from space. What we found troubles us greatly." Juno raised one eyebrow but said nothing. He waited. Kreeth slammed his clawed hand on the table. The sound echoed through the chamber. "Troubled? It is worse than that. Your world has almost no defenses. No weapons in orbit. No protective shields. No defense satellites. You have communication satellites, yes. You have science stations. But nothing to protect you. Nothing at all." Killeness made a sound like wind chimes ringing. Every civilized species in the Federation has defense systems. Weapons in space. Energy shields around their planets. Automated defense platforms that shoot at enemies. These are the basic requirements for keeping a planet safe. Earth has none of these things. None at all. The room became quiet. Juno stood there, still calm, still showing no emotion on his face. Finally he spoke. His voice was steady and confident. "We have defenses. They are just not positioned around Earth." The 3 committee members looked at each other. Their confusion was obvious. Velvets leaned forward. "Then where are they?" "We scanned your entire solar system. We found some small installations on your moon. We saw research stations on Mars. But we found nothing that looks like military defense. Nothing that could protect your planet." Juno took a breath. "What you are describing is static defense. Walls. Fortresses. Things that do not move. Humanity learned something important about such defenses a long time ago." "What did you learn?" Kreeth growled. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "We learned that they can all be broken through," Juno said simply. "Every wall can be climbed over. Every fortress can be destroyed. Every defense grid can be hacked or blown up. Static defenses invite attacks because they give enemies a target. They give enemies something to plan around. Something to figure out how to defeat." Killeness's transparent body rippled with confusion. "If you do not have defenses around your world, then how do you protect your people? How do you keep Earth safe?" Admiral Juno's face became harder. His eyes grew cold. "By making sure that any enemy never gets close to Earth in the first place." The silence that followed was heavy and uncomfortable. Velvet sat up straight. All 4 of his eyes narrowed as he stared at the human. "Admiral, are you saying that Earth has no defensive strategy at all? That you have no plan to protect your homeworld?" "No," Juno corrected him quickly. "I am saying our defensive strategy does not rely on hiding behind shields. We do not sit and wait hoping the enemy gets tired of shooting at us. We have a different philosophy. A different way of thinking about war and defense." "What philosophy is that?" Kreeth demanded. Juno's answer came without hesitation. "We consider attack the only defense." The silence that came after those words was even heavier than before. It pressed down on the room like a physical weight. Killeness made a shocked sound. "That is barbaric. That is the thinking of savages, not civilized beings." "That is survival," Juno shot back. His voice stayed calm, but there was steel in it now. "You asked about our defenses. I'm offering to show them to you. But I must warn you about something first. Our approach to warfare may not match what the Federation considers proper. It may shock you." Velvet stood up slowly. He was very tall, and his shadow stretched across the chamber floor. "We are required by Federation law to inspect and approve all defensive measures of new member species. Show us these defenses of yours, Admiral. Show us what humanity has built." Juno nodded once. "Very well. But before you can understand Earth's military doctrine, you need to understand human history. You need to know where we came from and what we learned." He pressed a button on his wrist device. Holographic images appeared in the air between them. The images showed terrible things. Cities burning. Huge armies fighting. Massive clouds shaped like mushrooms rising over destroyed landscapes. "For most of our history," Juno began, "humanity was at war with itself. We fought each other constantly. We killed millions of our own kind. These wars taught us lessons. Hard lessons. Bloody lessons. Lessons written in the deaths of our people. Kreith leaned forward, suddenly more interested. His warrior instincts recognized the importance of what Juno was saying. The greatest lesson we learned? Juno continued. The best way to survive a war is to make absolutely certain it never happens near your home. And if war must happen, if it cannot be avoided, then you must carry that war to the enemy's doorstep instead. You must make them fight on their ground, not yours. That is offensive warfare, Velvet said quietly. Understanding was beginning to dawn in his alien eyes. Yes, Juno confirmed. The Federation builds walls to hide behind. Humanity builds fleets to strike with. The Federation prepares to defend and resist. Humanity prepares to attack first, attack hard, and eliminate the threat completely and permanently. Killiness's form pulsed with agitation. Its see-through body rippled like water. This philosophy goes against everything the Federation stands for. We believe in proportional response. We believe in defensive measures. We believe in losing slowly, Juno interrupted. His voice cut through Killiness's protest like a knife. Tell me something, committee. How many Federation border worlds have been raided by pirates and hostile forces in the past 10 years? The committee members looked at each other. None of them spoke. I thought so, Juno said softly. Your defensive strategy allows enemies to test your strength. It allows them to probe your weaknesses. It allows them to learn how to beat you. Our strategy eliminates enemies before they can organize a second attack. Before they can try again. We will need to see proof of these capabilities, Velvet stated firmly. We need evidence that what you claim is true. Of course, Juno agreed. I will arrange transport to Mars. Our shipyards there will give you a very clear understanding of Earth's defensive philosophy. As the committee prepared to leave the chamber, Kreith approached Juno privately. He spoke in a low voice that the others could not hear. Admiral, I have fought in 17 military campaigns across the galaxy. I know the difference between defensive posturing and true military power. I know the difference between empty threats and real capability. Which one is Earth? Juno met the alien warrior's gaze without flinching. His eyes were steady and cold. Come to Mars, Kreith. See for yourself. Then you can decide. Kreith's eyes narrowed. I believe I am beginning to understand why Earth has no defense grid around the planet. You do not plan to ever need one, do you? No, Juno admitted. His voice was flat and certain. We do not. The Federation shuttle dropped through the thin Martian atmosphere like a stone falling through water. Below them, the red planet stretched out endlessly. Velvet pressed his face against the window, and what he saw made his heart beat faster with worry. Factories covered the land below. Massive structures of metal and concrete spread across the northern half of Mars like a disease. Smoke rose from 1,000 chimneys. Lights blinked from countless windows. The scale was overwhelming. Those factories, Velvet whispered. They are enormous. Admiral Juno stood beside him, looking down at the industrial wasteland below. 40% of Mars has been turned into military-industrial infrastructure. We build our weapons and ships here, far from Earth. But before we tour these facilities, I have arranged something else first. You will visit our war museum. You cannot understand humanity's present without understanding our past. The shuttle landed near the base of Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the entire solar system. The museum had been carved directly into the mountain itself, dug deep into the ancient rock. As they walked through the entrance, a young woman approached them. She had sharp, intelligent eyes and moved with careful, precise steps. Welcome, honored guests, she said with a small bow. My name is Minji. I am a historian. Admiral Juno asked me to show you our history and explain why we think the way we do about war and defense. Please follow me. The first room was filled with ancient weapons behind glass cases. Stone axes that primitive humans had used thousands of years ago. Bronze swords green with age. Iron armor rusted and dented from long-forgotten battles. Humanity has been fighting wars since before we could write, Minji began. Her voice was calm and clear. We have always been violent. We have always killed each other. But our modern military thinking was created much more recently. She led them to a larger chamber. The walls showed images that made even Kreith, the hardened warrior, pause. Soldiers drowning in mud. Cities turned to ash by bombs dropped from the sky. Massive clouds shaped like mushrooms rising over destroyed civilizations. The 20th century, Minji continued, was the bloodiest time in human history. We fought 2 global wars. These wars killed over 100 million people. We created weapons that could destroy our entire species. We came very close to making ourselves extinct. Kreeth studied the images carefully. Your species nearly killed itself completely. Yes, Minji confirmed. But we learned from it. Every conflict taught us new lessons about how to fight, how to defend ourselves, and how to survive. Some of these lessons were written in blood. She activated a holographic display. It showed a line of concrete fortifications stretching across an entire continent. The fortifications looked strong and well-built. This was called the Maginot Line, Minji explained. It was built by a nation called France before their Second Global War. They believed these fortifications would protect them from invasion. They spent enormous amounts of money building walls and bunkers and gun positions. Did it work? Kilness asked, its transparent form pulsing with curiosity. No, Admiral Juno answered from behind them. The enemy simply went around it. They invaded through a different route. The line became useless overnight. That was when humanity truly began to understand something important. Fixed defenses, no matter how strong, have a fatal weakness. They cannot move. Minji brought them to another display. This one showed fleets of aircraft and massive ships carrying thousands of soldiers. After that war, military thinking changed completely, she said. The nations that won did not build bigger walls. Instead, they built the ability to project force anywhere on the planet. They built the ability to fight wars far away from their homes. Power projection, Velvet said quietly. The concept was familiar to him, but not like this. Exactly, Minji confirmed. The ability to fight wars in other places became the ultimate defense. If you can strike your enemy before they organize an attack, you do not need walls around your cities. You do not need to defend at all. The group moved to a darker section of the museum. Here, the display showed missiles and submarines and vast armies preparing for a war that never came. This period we call the Cold War, Juno said. For decades, two great powers possessed weapons that could destroy all human civilization. Nuclear weapons. Thousands of them. Each side had enough to kill everyone on Earth many times over. Kreeth turned to look at the human admiral. Yet you did not destroy yourselves. Why not? Mutually assured destruction, Juno replied. Both sides knew that if one attacked, the other would retaliate before dying. There would be no winner. Only death for everyone. So neither side attacked. But there is a deeper lesson here, Minji added. The side that would have won such a war, if winning were possible, was not the side with the best defenses. It was the side with the most reliable second strike capability. The ability to guarantee retaliation even after being attacked first. You are saying that offense became your defense? Velvet observed. His four eyes studied the displays with growing understanding. We are saying, Minji corrected gently, that the best way to prevent an attack is to make absolutely certain the attacker knows they will not survive the counterattack. Defense is passive. It waits. Retaliation is active. It promises action. One invites enemies to test your strength. The other prevents war entirely. Kilness's form rippled with distress. But this requires maintaining a permanent offensive posture. It means always being ready to attack. It is aggressive and threatening. It is honest, Juno interrupted. His voice was firm. The Federation maintains defensive systems and claims to be peaceful. But those defenses still get tested by raiders and hostile forces regularly. Earth maintains offensive capabilities and makes no secret of our retaliation doctrine. We are honest about what we will do if attacked. And we do not get tested. Our enemies know exactly what will happen if they try. Kreeth walked around a display showing military academies and training grounds. Your officers are trained in offensive strategy as their primary doctrine. Not defense. Offense. Yes, Juno confirmed. Every Earth military officer studies invasion planning, force projection, and deep strike operations. We do not teach our commanders to hold ground and wait for help to arrive. We teach them to seize the initiative. We teach them to carry war to the enemy and never let them recover. What about defensive tactics? Velvet asked. Surely you study how to defend as well? We study them, Minji answered. But we study them as something to overcome when we face defensive-minded opponents. Our doctrine assumes that if an enemy reaches Earth, we have already failed. So our entire military structure is designed to ensure that never happens. We fight wars elsewhere. Always elsewhere. The final chamber showed current Earth military deployments. Star charts covered the walls, marked with ship positions hundreds of light years from Earth. Surveillance networks monitored dozens of star systems. Rapid response fleets waited at strategic points, ready to move at a moment's notice. This is your defensive perimeter? Kilnis asked, pointing at the star chart with a trembling appendage. It is hundreds of light years from Earth. That is not defense. That is expansion. It is preemption, Juno said simply. We do not defend our borders and wait for enemies to approach. We monitor potential threats at their source. We maintain the capability to eliminate them before they ever become immediate dangers. We fight wars before they reach our worlds. Kreeth turned to face Juno directly. His crimson armor gleamed in the museum lights. You are not a defensive species at all. You are an aggressive one wearing the mask of civilization. We are a species that learns survival through harsh lessons, Juno replied without emotion. Every civilization in this galaxy faced some great challenge. Some filter that either destroyed them or made them stronger. For most species, that challenge was external. Hostile environments, predatory animals, natural disasters. And for humans? Velvets asked quietly, though he suspected he already knew the answer. For humans, Minji answered, her voice soft but steady, that challenge was ourselves. We faced extinction at our own hands multiple times. The survivors, us, we learned that survival requires two things. Overwhelming force and the absolute willingness to use it without hesitation. That is terrifying, Kilnis whispered. That is effective, Kreeth countered. I am beginning to understand why Earth has no defense grid around the planet. You poured all those resources into strike capability instead. Every credit that could have built defensive platforms was spent on warships. Every engineer who could have designed shield generators designed weapons instead. Juno nodded once. Because we believe the war should be fought elsewhere. Far from our homes. Far from our families. We do not wait for enemies to bring war to us. We bring war to them first. Come, Juno said, gesturing toward the exit. Let me show you where Earth's defensive budget actually went. The shipyards are waiting. As they left the museum, Minji offered one final observation. The Federation asks why Earth has no defense grid. The answer is simple. We consider the entire concept obsolete. Why defend your home when you can eliminate threats before they form? Why wait for war to come to you when you can carry it to the enemy first and end it before it begins? The observation deck was a room with windows that looked out into space. Velvets walked to the glass and pressed his hands against it. All four of his eyes opened wide. What he saw below made him forget how to breathe. Impossible, he whispered. Stretching across the orbit of Mars were shipyards. Not just a few. Not dozens. Hundreds of them. Giant metal frameworks floated in space, each one holding a warship being built. Some ships were just skeletons of steel. Others were nearly complete. Smaller vessels moved between the big structures like bees around flowers, carrying materials and workers. The scale was beyond anything Velvets had ever seen. This was not a defense fleet. This was an armada capable of conquering galaxies. A new human approached them. He was younger than Admiral Juno, with sharp, calculating eyes. He moved with the easy confidence of someone who controlled everything around him. Welcome to the Ares shipyards, he said. My name is Taehyun. I command this facility. Right now we are operating at 70% capacity. Killian's transparent body flickered like a broken light. 70%? You mean this is not even full production? This is not your maximum? No, Taehyun replied calmly. We maintain reserve capacity for emergencies. If we needed to, we could triple our output within 6 months. We always keep that ability ready. Kreeth moved along the observation window. His warrior's eye studied each vessel carefully. These are not defensive monitors. These are not ships designed to guard territory. Those are attack cruisers, carrier groups, strike craft. These are ships built for invasion. Correct, Taehyun confirmed without hesitation. We do not build ships to defend fixed positions. We build ships to control space. We build ships to project force into enemy star systems and dominate them completely. Velvets turned away from the window to face Juno. His voice trembled slightly. How many vessels are under construction here right now? How many ships are you building? Currently? Juno replied as if discussing the weather. 416 major warships. Another 800 support vessels. And approximately 3,000 strike craft. Those numbers change weekly as ships are completed and new construction begins. Kreeth's clawed hand gripped the window frame. That is a fleet capable of conquering multiple star systems. That is an invasion force, not a defense force. It is a fleet capable of defending one star system by ensuring no enemy can organize an attack against it, Juno corrected. There is a critical difference. Is there? Velvets challenged. His 4 eyes blazed with accusation. Admiral, what we are seeing here is the largest military buildup I have encountered in 30 years of Federation service. This is not defense. This is preparation for war. This is preparation for conquest. A woman approached the group. She was small and moved with precise, careful steps. Her eyes were focused and intelligent. You are misunderstanding our doctrine, she said calmly. My name is Hannah. I am the chief engineer. May I explain? Velvets gestured for her to continue. His movements were stiff with tension. The Federation builds defensive platforms around homeworlds, Hannah began. These platforms are expensive. They cannot move. And ultimately they are vulnerable. A determined attacker will eventually find a way through them or around them. When that happens, your homeworld is exposed and defenseless. She activated a holographic display. It showed Earth surrounded by 5 glowing rings at different distances. We took a different approach, she continued. Instead of one defensive line at Earth, we created multiple engagement zones throughout the solar system. She pointed at each ring. First defensive ring is at the Kuiper Belt, at the edge of our system. Second is at Jupiter's orbit. Third is the asteroid belt. Fourth is Mars' orbit, where we are now. Fifth is the Moon. 5 defensive layers, Killineas observed. Its form had stopped flickering. That sounds like traditional defense after all. It would be, Hannah agreed, if the layers were designed to stop an enemy. But they are not. Each layer is designed to delay an enemy. To slow them down. To make them fight for every kilometer. This gives our strike fleets time to mobilize and launch counterattacks. Counterattack where? Velvets asked, though fear was growing in his hearts. He suspected he knew the answer. At the enemy's homeworld, Juno answered flatly. While hostile forces fight through our delaying actions in the solar system, our main fleets would already be in transit to their origin point. By the time an enemy reaches Earth, if they reach Earth at all, their own homeworld would already be under assault. Their families would be dying. Their civilization would be burning. The words hung in the air like poison gas. The committee members stood in stunned silence. Kreith spoke first. You are describing strategic offensive operations on a massive scale. Not defensive ones. We are describing deterrence, Taehyun corrected. Every potential adversary within 100 light-years knows this doctrine. They know it because we tell them openly. They know that an attack on Earth means simultaneous counterstrikes against their worlds. Multiple fleets hitting multiple targets. It is not about defeating their attack on us. It is about making the cost of that attack absolutely unacceptable. No rational leader would trade their entire civilization just to damage Earth. Hannah pulled up another display. This one showed fleet compositions and positions. Our carrier groups are not positioned defensively around Earth. They are stationed at strategic locations throughout explored space. Each group can reach any potential threat system within days, not weeks. We maintain forward deployment at all times. You are describing an empire's military structure, Velvet said. His voice was heavy with concern and barely contained anger. Not a peaceful civilization's defense force. This is the military of conquerors. This is the military of survivors, Juno replied. His voice remained calm and emotionless. Let me ask you something, Coordinator Velvets. How many Federation worlds have been successfully raided by pirates and hostile forces in the past 10 years? Velvets hesitated. He did not want to answer. 17 confirmed attacks. And how many of those attacks were prevented by your defensive systems? 4. So 13 successful attacks despite all your defensive infrastructure, Juno observed. 13 worlds damaged or plundered while hiding behind their shields and defense platforms. Now let me tell you about human colonies. 7 times, hostile forces attempted to attack human settlements. 7 times. Do you know what happened? Tell me, Kreith said. He was genuinely curious now. All 7 enemy forces were intercepted before reaching their targets. Not one successful attack. Not one human colony damaged. Not because we had better defenses around our worlds, but because our reconnaissance networks detected the threats early. Our strike fleets eliminated them while they were still in transit, still far from our territory. And after those eliminations? Velvets asked quietly. He already knew the answer would be terrible. We traced each force back to their points of origin, Taehyun answered. The pirate bases, the raider stations, the hostile outposts, all of them were destroyed. Completely destroyed. We did not just repel the attacks. We eliminated the capability to launch future attacks. We removed the threat permanently. That is not defense. Killineas protested. Its transparent form pulsed rapidly with agitation. That is aggression. That is offensive warfare. That is effective deterrence, Hannah countered firmly. After those 7 incidents, attempts on human assets dropped to exactly 0. Nobody tries anymore. Compare that to the Federation's ongoing raider problem. You are attacked constantly because your enemies know they might succeed. They know that even if they fail, they will survive to try again. Our enemies know that failure means death. Success means death. Any attack on humanity means death. So they do not attack at all. The committee members exchanged uncomfortable glances. They could not argue with the logic even though it horrified them. Kreeth approached a window that showed a massive carrier under construction. The ship was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the largest Federation vessel. These ships, he said slowly, they are not designed for patrol duty or system defense. That is a deep space assault carrier. It is built for extended campaigns far from home. Far from support. It is built to invade and conquer. Yes, Juno confirmed without shame. Our fleet doctrine assumes we will be fighting in enemy territory, not our own. We build ships that can operate independently for months. Ships that can strike deep into hostile space. Ships that can maintain combat effectiveness without nearby bases or supply lines. Because we plan to fight far from home. Always far from home. You are preparing for wars of conquest, Velvet's accused. We are preparing to fight wars anywhere except near Earth, Juno corrected. That is not conquest. That is security. The shuttle descended toward Earth, toward a mountain range covered in snow. The Swiss Alps stretched across the horizon like the teeth of some enormous beast. The shuttle landed on a platform that immediately sank into the mountain itself, carrying them deep underground. They traveled down, down, down. 3 kilometers beneath the surface they finally stopped. Here, buried under all that rock and metal, was Earth Defense Command. Massive bunkers and command centers filled the underground complex. These structures could survive almost anything. Nuclear weapons. Orbital bombardment. Everything short of destroying the entire planet. A woman waited for them at a security checkpoint. She was middle-aged with cold, evaluating eyes that seemed to see through people. Her expression was controlled and revealed nothing. "Welcome to EDC," she said. Her voice was cool and professional. "My name is Jaiwan. I am the Director of Intelligence." Kreeth had heard of her. Everyone in the Federation's military circles had heard of Director Jaiwan. 30 years in military intelligence. Fluent in 17 different alien languages. She had personally discovered 12 potential threats to human security before those threats could materialize into actual attacks. She was famous for knowing things before they happened. They passed through multiple security checks. Scanners. Guards. Biometric verification. Finally, they entered the main operations center. The chamber was vast. Holographic displays filled the air like glowing clouds. Each display showed a different part of known space. Star systems. Trade routes. Military installations. Ship movements. Everything. Hundreds of human personnel worked at stations below, their fingers dancing over controls, their eyes fixed on screens. "This," Jaiwan began, gesturing at the displays around them, "is where we prevent wars." She walked to a central control panel and expanded one of the displays. It showed a map of the galaxy with hundreds of colored markers scattered across it. "We monitor every star system within 100 light-years of Earth," she explained. "Every ship movement. Every military buildup. Every communication that might indicate hostile intent. We track it all. We see everything." Velvet studied the displays with growing horror. "This is comprehensive surveillance. This is total intelligence gathering. Do the species you monitor know you are watching them?" "Some know. Some suspect. Some have no idea," Jaiwan replied with a slight shrug. "But all of them should assume they are being watched. We do not hide our intelligence capabilities. They are part of our deterrence strategy. When enemies know you can see them, they are less likely to try anything." Kreeth pointed to a cluster of red markers near the edge of the displayed map. "Those are Exaketh Marauder positions." "Correct," Jaiwan confirmed. "We have tracked them for 3 years. Every base. Every ship. Every supply route. We know their force composition. We know their tactical doctrine. We know their command structure. We know everything about them." "Why?" Kiloneus asked. Its transparent form pulsed with confusion. "The Exaketh have never attacked human assets. They have never threatened you." "Not yet," Jaiwan agreed. Her voice remained emotionless. But our projections indicate a 73% probability they will attempt raids on human colonies within 5 years. So we are prepared. We are always prepared. She pulled up another display. This one showed detailed attack plans, invasion routes, target priorities, fleet assignments. Everything was already planned out in precise detail. If the Exaketh do attack us, Jaiwan continued, our response will not be defensive. Within 6 hours of the first hostile action, strike fleets will launch against every Exaketh base simultaneously. Within 24 hours, their military capability will cease to exist. Within 48 hours, their leadership will be dead or captured. Within 72 hours, the Exaketh marauders will no longer exist as an organized force. The casual certainty in her voice made Velvets feel sick. She was talking about destroying an entire civilization as if she were discussing a grocery list. You have planned the complete destruction of an entire species, Velvet said slowly. Not just defeating them. Destroying them utterly. We have planned a response proportional to aggression, Jaiwan corrected. If they attack us, they will have chosen their own fate. We simply ensure the outcome is swift and total and leaves no possibility of a second attack. A tall man joined them. He had a composed manner and spoke with quiet authority. My name is Sunho, he said. I coordinate strategic doctrine. Let me explain our framework more clearly. He pulled up a comparative analysis on the main display. It showed Federation military responses versus human military responses. The Federation operates on what we call reactive defense, Sunho began. You wait for attacks to happen. You defend against them. You repel the enemy. Then you seek negotiated resolution and peace treaties. This approach has merit in a stable, peaceful environment where all parties act rationally. He highlighted several incidents where this approach had failed. But reactive defense has consistent weaknesses, he continued. It allows enemies to choose the time and place of attack. It gives all initiative to the aggressor. It relies on the enemy eventually agreeing to peace. And it invites repeated testing because the cost of failure is acceptable. Failed attacks do not result in destruction, so enemies can try again and again. What is your alternative? Velvets asked, though dread filled his heart. Active deterrence through preemptive elimination, Sunho answered calmly. We do not wait for threats to materialize. We identify potential threats early. We monitor them closely. And we eliminate them before they can organize effective attacks against us. We remove the threat before it becomes dangerous. That is aggressive warfare, Kilaneus protested. That is attacking people who have not yet attacked you. That is wrong. That is preventive warfare, Sunho corrected. There is a legal and moral distinction. We do not seek conquest or expansion. We seek the elimination of threats before they can harm us or our allies. We protect our people by acting on threats before those threats mature into actual attacks. He displayed a series of case studies. Each one showed a potential threat that had been identified, monitored, and ultimately eliminated or deterred. 3 years ago, Jaiwan said, pointing to one case study, we detected a pirate alliance forming near the Kepler sector. They were small groups individually, but together they would have been formidable. Their encrypted communications indicated plans to raid human freighter convoys. They were organizing, planning, preparing. What did you do? Kreeth asked. He was leaning forward now, professionally interested despite his moral reservations. We destroyed them, Jaiwan answered simply. Before they could launch a single raid. Before they could attack even one ship. Fast attack groups hit every pirate base simultaneously. 18 locations struck in a coordinated operation. The alliance collapsed in 18 hours. It ceased to exist. You attacked them without provocation, Velvet said. His voice shook with anger. They had not hurt you. They had not fired a single shot at humanity. And you destroyed them. We attacked them with sufficient provocation, Juno corrected firmly. Their demonstrated intent to harm human interests. Their communications proved they were planning attacks. We did not wait for them to succeed. We did not wait for human deaths. We acted on clear evidence of hostile intent. The result? 0 human casualties. 0 successful raids. And a very clear message sent to every other pirate group in the region. Sunho displayed another scenario. Last year, a minor empire called the Corvash began military buildup along trade routes near human colony worlds. They had not declared war. They had not made threats. But the buildup was aggressive. It was suspicious. And they refused to explain their intentions. So you attacked them too? Kilanes's form flickered wildly with distress. No, Sunho said. We positioned strike fleets within striking distance of their homeworld. We made our deployment public. We informed the Corvash government directly that we were doing this and why. We told them that any attack on human interests would result in immediate retaliation against their homeworld. The buildup stopped within 1 week. Problem solved. Deterrence without violence. But with a very clear threat of total violence if necessary. Threat of overwhelming, absolute violence, Juno emphasized. That is what makes it effective. Half measures invite testing. Limited responses invite probing attacks. But total commitment to overwhelming retaliation? That prevents war entirely because no rational enemy will accept those costs. Jaiwan pulled up the main strategic display again. It showed all the monitored systems color-coded by threat level. Every species within striking distance of human space is assessed and color-coded, she explained. Green represents no threat. Yellow represents potential future threat. Orange represents current monitoring concern. Red represents imminent danger requiring immediate action. The display showed mostly green and yellow markers. A handful of orange. No red markers at all. No red markers, Kreith observed. Why not? Because we have eliminated or deterred every imminent threat, Jaiwan confirmed with satisfaction. That is the entire point of this system. We do not wait for markers to turn red and then react. We address orange markers before they can escalate to red. We solve problems before they become crises. How do you address them? Velvets asked. His voice was barely a whisper now. It depends on the situation, Sunho answered. Sometimes diplomatic pressure. Sometimes economic sanctions. Sometimes military demonstrations. Sometimes covert operations. And sometimes direct military action to eliminate the threat permanently. The alarm cut through the room like a knife. Red lights began flashing throughout Earth Defense Command. Automated systems activated with mechanical precision. The quiet tension that had filled the briefing room exploded into controlled urgency. Jaiwan moved instantly. Her fingers flew across holographic controls. Data streamed across displays faster than the aliens could read it. Her expression, already hard, became like stone. Contact, she announced. Her voice cut through the chaos with absolute clarity. Multiple Exaketh Marauder ships emerging from faster-than-light travel at the Kuiper Belt perimeter. They are entering our solar system. Velvets felt all 4 of his heart skip beats. The Exaketh? The same ones you have been monitoring for 3 years? Confirmed, Jaiwan replied. Her fingers continued their dance across the controls without pause. Fleet composition matches our intelligence profiles exactly. 27 heavy raider vessels. 43 strike craft. They are heading toward the inner system. They are heading toward Earth. Kreith moved to observe the tactical display. His warrior instincts immediately assessed the situation. They are attacking Earth? Are they insane? Do they have a death wish? A young man joined them at the command station. He moved with practiced efficiency despite his youth. They heard Earth has no defense grid, he explained quickly. Apparently they decided we were easy prey. They thought we would be defenseless. His name was Doyen. He was the tactical coordinator. They are about to learn how wrong they are, Admiral Juno said. His voice was cold as ice. Activate response protocol Theta-7 immediately. Yes, sir, Doyen responded. His fingers moved across his controls, transmitting commands throughout the solar system and beyond. The tactical display transformed before their eyes. Green markers appeared throughout the outer solar system. Ships that had been positioned on supposed training exercises suddenly revealed their true purpose. Fourth Fleet is engaging at the Kuiper Belt, Doyen reported in a calm, steady voice. Sixth Fleet moving to intercept at Neptune orbit. Second Fleet holding position at Jupiter as strategic reserve. All units executing planned defense protocols. They are not defending Earth, Velvets observed. Understanding was beginning to dawn on him. They are creating engagement zones. Delaying actions. We are slowing them down, Juno corrected. Making them fight for every kilometer. Watch what happens next. The display suddenly shifted. It expanded beyond the solar system, showing deep space hundreds of light-years away. New markers appeared. Massive fleet concentrations moving at incredible speeds. First, third, and fifth fleets entering faster-than-light travel, Doyen announced. Destination, Exaketh territory. Estimated time of arrival to primary targets, 16 hours. Killiness's transparent body pulsed so wildly it looked like it might fall apart. You are counterattacking? Already? They have not even reached Mars yet. They are still at the edge of your system and you are already launching an invasion of their homeworld. They attacked us, Jaiwan stated flatly. That is all the justification we need. The counteroffensive is already in motion. It began the moment they entered our space with hostile intent. The committee watched in stunned, horrified silence as the human response unfolded with terrible efficiency. In the solar system, human forces did not try to hold fixed positions. They contested space. They made the HFY fight for every advance. The raiders took heavy losses but kept pushing forward, not yet realizing their doom was already sealed. But the real war was happening far away from Earth. A woman named Sora provided updates. Her voice was calm and measured, as if she were reading a shopping list instead of describing the destruction of a civilization. First fleet emerging at HFY Prime, she reported. Defensive satellites neutralized. Orbital bombardment of military targets commencing. Third fleet engaging HFY supply depot at Sector 7. Station destroyed. Enemy reinforcements eliminated before they could organize. Fifth fleet has secured HFY military shipyards. All vessels under construction destroyed. Production capability eliminated. The attacks were simultaneous. Surgical. Devastating. Absolute. Stop this. Velvets demanded. His voice broke with emotion. This is excessive. They attacked your outer defenses. You are destroying their entire civilization. This is genocide. They attacked Earth, Juno replied. His voice showed no emotion at all. This is the promised response. Total. Immediate. Overwhelming. We told them this would happen. Every species knows our doctrine. They chose to attack anyway. Now they face the consequences. Kreeth watched the tactical displays with the eye of a professional warrior. You are not just counterattacking. You are eliminating the HFY's ability to wage war. Permanently. You are removing them as a threat forever. Correct, Doyen confirmed. Every military base. Every shipyard. Every command center. Every weapons production facility. By the time the HFY force in our solar system realizes what is happening to their homeworld, it will be too late. Their civilization will be defenseless. Their military will cease to exist. The battle in the solar system was brief and brutally one-sided. The HFY raiders were outnumbered, outmaneuvered, outtrained. They fought desperately, but desperation is not enough against superior force and doctrine. Kuiper Belt engagement concluded, Sora reported. Enemy force reduced by 60%. Survivors retreating toward inner system. They are running now. Fourth fleet pursuing. Sixth fleet positioning for intercept at Saturn orbit. No enemy vessels will escape. The committee watched as the HFY retreat turned into a massacre. Human forces did not accept surrender. They systematically eliminated every hostile vessel. No prisoners. No mercy. This is slaughter, Kilines protested weakly. This is war, Juno replied. They chose to attack. They chose to make themselves our enemy. Now they face what happens to our enemies. We do not fight limited wars. We do not accept partial victories. We end threats completely. Velvets turned to the display showing HFY space far away. The destruction was total. What you are doing to their homeworld, it goes beyond military action. You are destroying everything they are. We are targeting military and industrial infrastructure, Jaiwan corrected. Command centers, weapons factories, military bases, shipyards. We are not targeting civilian populations directly. Though I admit the distinction will seem meaningless to the HFY people watching their world burn. Sora continued her calm reports of destruction. First Fleet reports HFY prime orbital defenses eliminated. Planetary military installations destroyed. Enemy fleet command eliminated. Their leadership is dead. Third Fleet has secured all major HFY colonies. Military forces destroyed or surrendered. The colonies are ours now. Fifth Fleet reports complete destruction of HFY shipbuilding capacity. They will never build another warship. The operation took less than 30 hours from the first alarm to complete victory. When it ended, the HFY force that had attacked humanity's solar system was completely destroyed. Not defeated. Destroyed. Every ship. Every crew member. Nothing remained but debris and bodies. But more importantly, the HFY marauders as a military power had ceased to exist entirely. Admiral Juno pulled up the final assessment on the main display. Numbers and charts showed the total devastation in cold, precise detail. HFY military capability, 0, he read aloud. Ability to threaten human assets, eliminated permanently. Ability to threaten any species, eliminated permanently. Total human casualties, 47 personnel. Mission status, complete success. You have destroyed them, Velvet said quietly. His voice trembled. Not defeated them in battle. Not forced them to surrender. You have destroyed them as a civilization. They will never recover from this. We have eliminated the threat permanently, Juno clarified. They attacked us once. They will never have the opportunity to attack anyone ever again. That is the point. That is the lesson we teach. Kreeth studied the battle reports with the grudging respect of one warrior for another. Total victory. Minimal casualties on your side. The enemy completely neutralized. It is brutally efficient. It is monstrous, Killian said. Its form pulsed weakly with horror and exhaustion. It is deterrence, Jaiwan replied firmly. Within hours, every species in the galaxy will know what happened here. The Exaketh attacked Earth. The Exaketh no longer exist as a military power. Their civilization is broken. The lesson is clear to everyone watching. This is what happens when you attack humanity. A new operator called out from below. Director, we are receiving communications from multiple star systems. 17 different species are sending urgent messages. What do they say? Juno asked. All of them are offering assurances of peaceful intent toward human assets. Several are requesting non-aggression pacts. Some are asking for trade agreements. They all want us to know they are not threats. They saw what happened to the Exaketh, Jaiwan said with cold satisfaction. Now they are making absolutely certain it does not happen to them. They are afraid. Good. This is your deterrence in action, Juno told the committee. We did not need to threaten those 17 species. We did not need to send them warnings. We simply demonstrated what happens to those who attack us. The lesson is being learned across the galaxy right now. Fear spreads faster than light. Velvet sat down heavily. His tall frame seemed to collapse in on itself. You have weaponized fear itself. You have made terror into a strategic asset. We have weaponized certainty, Juno corrected. Fear based on uncertainty fades. But absolute certainty that aggression equals total destruction? That prevents war far more effectively than any defense grid ever could.